Andrew and Tristan Tate were on cloud nine. Romanian prosecutors lifted their travel restrictions for the human trafficking cases, allowing them to travel to the United States of America. They were living it up in Miami, Florida.
Long story short, I'm in Miami, motherfucker. I ain't Romania. I ain't jail. I ain't fucking England. I ain't all the places all the haters said I was gonna be. I'm chilling. I'm cool. What's the problem? I'm dancing. I'm handsome.
And we're having a good time.
That is until...
Is he welcome here? What the state do? Send back to Romania or whatever?
We have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeier, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening.
Florida's Governor, Ron DeSantis, said that his Attorney General, James Uthmeier, was looking into what state jurisdiction they may have over the Tates. He also emphatically said that they are not welcome in the state of Florida. Uthmeier confirmed this himself, tweeting that he had directed his office to work with their state law enforcement partners to conduct a preliminary inquiry into the Tates. Shortly after all of this, Andrew had a bit of a meltdown about this on the PBD podcast and vented to Patrick.
As for Ron, I'm a little bit disappointed, I'll be honest. I've never said anything bad about him. I didn't know much about him. I don't know why Ron's answer wasn't, he has an American passport. The judicial system in Romania, which I know absolutely nothing about, decided to let him fly, and he's flown to his home country. As far as we're concerned, he's broken no laws. Instead, what he did was say, we're going to get our Attorney General to try and find some laws he's broken and wreck this man who's done nothing inside of the United States ever. It's not, we've seen a crime, let's find the perpetrator. It's, we found a man, let's see if we can find a crime to pin on this man. Is that the American way? Is that democracy? But it's quite unusual and quite scary for me to land as an American citizen, expecting a hero's welcome after dealing with a foreign and complicated judicial process, and being told that now the American state is going to be set on me, trying its very best to lock me up here when I've done nothing wrong ever. This is communism in and of itself. I may as well fly back to Romania. This is incredible that I landed and the governor of Florida is like, don't worry, I told my Attorney General to try and find things this man's done. Where did that even come from? So I'm very, very disappointed in Ron. Ron fell for it. Instead of standing there and saying, we have no evidence of crimes, he has an American passport, it's innocent until proven guilty, I don't understand the Romanian system, what he did was collapse instantly and completely, and liberals know this. Even governors of great states like Florida are not smart enough to stand up and answer a media question without falling for the trap, which makes them incompetent and unfit for leadership if they can't resist matrix programming.
As much as Tate would love all of us to think that this is something that DeSantis and Uthmeier pulled out of the sky, one of the victims listed in the first human trafficking case in Romania is a Floridian resident who Tristan recruited from Miami. They chose Florida as their first destination in the United States out of pure arrogance, as well as, I believe, to intimidate this woman. On Wednesday, the 5th of March, Attorney General Uthmeier made the announcement that he had directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to execute search warrants and issue subpoenas for the now active criminal investigation into the Tate brothers.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want. But in Florida, This type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable. So we are in the process today. We have secured and executed subpoenas and warrants, and we're going to continue to move forward with full force of law. This is an ongoing criminal investigation, and we're going to use every tool we have to ensure that justice is served.
Do you open a criminal investigation?
There is an active criminal investigation, yes.
Do you believe that can you give me any details of what?
I can't comment on a pending investigation, but what I can tell you is if these guys did criminal activity here in Florida, we will go after them with the full force of law and hold them accountable.
It was time for the tears to begin from the real victims, the Tate brothers. Andrew took to Twitter to cry victim, attributing the quote, "Show me the man and I'll show you the crime," to James Uthmeier and Ron DeSantis. Andrew jumped on a stream with Candace Owens to shed some tears. Candace was outraged about this criminal investigation into the Tates. She thought this was America.
I directed my office to work with our law enforcement partners to conduct a preliminary inquiry into Andrew and Tristan Tate. Now you're going, is this Stalin tweeting this, Candace? Is this in America? Or are we in Russia right now? What's going on? Nope, let's keep reading. This is actually America. This happened in Florida.
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
Candace talks about how she read through the case and mentions Tate's frivolous lawsuit against the Florida-based victim in the Tate's human trafficking case, Jane Doe.
I actually took the time to read through that case, and I came out and I explained everything to everyone slowly with, names, details, everything. And I said, here is why I do not think that this case is going to go through in Romania, especially given the fact that you guys had brought a case, for those of us who read it, had brought a case against the girl who launched everything in Romania. I mean, I read her messages, I read the WhatsApp text messages, and that is why I said this case is not going to go through in Romania.
Candace isn't kidding when she says she mentioned names. In her now deleted video in 2003, she mentioned Jane Doe's name, a listed victim in an ongoing human trafficking case, over 120 times, while she censored the name of the convicted pedophile, Keith Fox, as she attacked and slandered his victim that he molested to defend her old friends, the Tates. She really is a filthy, disgusting, vile piece of excrement. Candace was outraged that the Florida law enforcement had seized Andrew's phone. She says we should seize Ron DeSantis's and James Uthmeier's phones.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me because this is not the way due process should work, okay? Yeah. And people should not be prosecuted because you don't like their ideas or you want something for them. We have to make sure we protect our judicial system. And so when I hear this, they took your technology as soon as you landed, what should be happening right now is left and right pressure should be put on Ron DeSantis and this Attorney General to make a statement as to why that was done, under what grounds a preliminary investigation is done. I want to know what is the legal route to getting Ron DeSantis' text messages that day. I want to know who was texting Ron DeSantis. Is it a FOIA request? Who was emailing Ron DeSantis and texting him? I don't want your phone. I want his. Okay?
Yeah.
Your phone makes no sense to me. I want Ron DeSantis' phone. I want the Attorney General's phone. I want Uthmeier's phone. I want to know what donors texted you and told you to move, because you were moving for donors and money and corruption, no different than a George Soros DA was doing. And I don't care if it's left or right. Wrong is wrong.
You nailed it.
Candace truly is an unhinged, deranged lunatic. Candace then extended an open invitation for anyone to debate her on the Tate case.
And trying to say, well, it's not Christian, it's not this, he's a bad guy. And suddenly everybody wanted to look into Andrew Tate. I watched that happen live, okay? So any person who would like to debate me on that, who is a neocon, who is pretending that they've held these perspectives about Andrew Tate forever, since the investigations began, please, I invite you to have that conversation with me, because you're all lying, okay? Let's not dress this up as something that it isn't. This is about Andrew Tate saying something that you don't want him to say because he's too influential.
Candace, I accept your invitation to debate, and I know plenty of others who would also. Do I think that you are a woman of your word and would publicly have this discussion with anyone? Absolutely not. I mentioned earlier that Andrew came on this stream to have a massive cry, and I was not kidding. So without further ado, here is Andrew Tate crying about being criminally prosecuted in Florida for 2 minutes.
So here I am, expecting to be welcome in my host nation, and it turns out they're the Stasi. This is worse than Romania. This is communism in and of itself. I'm truly disgusted. I don't know all these people who keep saying that my case in Romania, they pretend they give a shit about it. How much blood am I supposed to give to a foreign, questionable judicial system when I've never even had a trial? They've had 3 years of my life. I've been to jail. I was locked in my house for 2 years. I haven't seen my children. I missed my grandmother's funeral. My mother had a heart attack. I was stuck in Romania with no money, no cars, no access to my passport or my cryptocurrency. All of it was taken away from me. And people are sitting there saying I should give them more than 3 years of respecting their judicial system and just sit there for the next 5 years having my life wasted by some prosecutor who's funded by George Soros anyway? The people who hate me are going to sit here and pretend that what Florida's doing is a fine, perfectly normal thing, when we all know it is communistic and it is dystopian. This is the Stasi themselves. And it doesn't matter because I am being wrecked by the process. That's all they want to do. They want to endlessly process me and destroy my reputation, destroy my name, take my money away. I'll be honest, Candace, if I was a slightly more sentimental man, part of me wants to cry because this is so ridiculous. This is so heartbreaking and so sad. For 4 solid years, every single day, I have protected my reputation. I've protected my freedom. I've tried to financially provide for my family and protect my children for 4 solid years. And for the first time in 4 years, I finally had a genuine smile on my face. That private plane to Florida, I land to another preliminary investigation. Why?
Yeah.
Why? But I've had my house raided 6 times. 6 times I woke up to guns. 6. Is there no other crime in Florida? I mean, this is crazy. If you're going to say that a man said something on YouTube, so let's launch a preliminary investigation and take all of his phones and laptops, then let's go get 50 Cent for saying he's a PIMP. I can find a PIMP video of him on YouTube right now. Let's take his What kind of world is this?
Andrew is a poor little victim. After crying and throwing a tantrum, Andrew started talking tough, telling the authorities in Florida to come and arrest him.
I'm right here in Miami. Come get me, arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Come get me, raid my house, take my stuff.
This gives me shades of when Andrew told the UK authorities to come and get his taxes, which they did.
Because everyone's a coward and fills in the form. I don't fill in forms. No, you want my money? Come get it. Come get it.
It remains to be seen if Andrew telling Florida to arrest him will also come back to bite him. Next, we have Andrew Tate, the most embarrassing self-snitcher in the history of the world, doing what he does best and publicly admitting to crimes like a moron.
You think I sleep with a phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me, let's do this all over again. I've done it for 4 years in Romania. You think I'm scared of your state jail?
Just brilliant stuff. Tate says he's done nothing wrong, yet he has evidence to wipe from his phone daily. With the now ongoing criminal investigation into the Tate brothers in Florida, the question really was, what are they going to do from here? Are they even going to return to court in Romania later this month as they are supposed to? It didn't sound like it when he told Kyle on the Nelk podcast that he intends on being in America for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm being patient with it because I intend on being in America for a very long time now. So I don't have to do everything at once.
That conversation was pre-recorded before Florida's criminal investigation into the Tates was announced. After the investigation was announced, Andrew had changed his tune, tweeting that he was going back to Romania in a few days anyway. He then cried on Twitter saying, "Thank you Florida, you were very welcoming," and said, "See you in a few years," indicating that he was leaving. There was speculation that the Tates weren't yet leaving the United States, but simply fleeing the investigation in Florida. And as of the recording of this video, it appears that this is what has happened, with Tristan tweeting "Viva Las Vegas baby," and Kyle from the Nelk Boys, official supporter of self-confessed sex trafficking child predators, tweeting a picture with the Tates with the caption "Sin City." There are reports that the Tates are in Las Vegas to attend UFC 313. Will the UFC president Dana White roll out the red carpet for these degenerates? I would not put it past him. There is one other possibility for the Tates that is still up in the air. There are still those in the UK that are calling for the UK government to request immediate extradition of the Tates from the US to the United Kingdom. The latest development was Edward Davey asking British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Parliament if the government will request an urgent extradition of the Tate brothers to the UK.
But can I take him back to President Trump's reliability? 4 British women have accused Andrew Tate of rape and human trafficking, and British police have issued arrest warrants. The Tates have tried to escape justice, first to Romania, now to the United States, but I'm delighted that Florida has thankfully opened a criminal investigation. But does the Prime Minister agree that people who are wanted by British police of such appalling crimes should stand trial in our country? And given his assessment that President Trump really is a reliable ally, will his government request an urgent extradition of the Tate brothers?
Prime Minister.
This is a live issue, as he'll appreciate, and therefore I'll tread carefully. But the principle is absolutely clear. Justice must be done in all cases, including in this case. But I won't go into the details because this is a live case, as he knows.
Will the British government request immediate extradition of the Tates from the US? If they do, will the Trump administration, which the Tates have some strong links to, cooperate? Will the Tates return to Romania later this month, as they are supposed to? Will Florida be free to investigate the Tate brothers without interference from the Trump administration? There are a lot of questions in this story that we do not have answers to, and a lot of different directions that all of this could go in. I will be sure to keep you all updated. Make sure you're subscribed for my video updates, and for more immediate updates, I will be posting regularly on X, Threads, and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to support the growth of the channel, you can buy a Gadget a coffee or join as a member. The links are in the description.